the Chief Deputy City Attorney, who was the lead on the SMART program. The need for SMART began with Prop 47, which California voters overwhelmingly approved in November of 2014. Prop 47 promised that drug and theft offenders would not go to prison, but instead would go to treatment and supportive service programs funded from the savings to prisons. But those predicted savings, the so-called Prop 47 funds, were not released for 2.5 years. In the meantime, misdemeanor drug and theft cases nearly tripled, as did the impact on society of a growing population of chronic offenders without incentives to engage in programs or supportive services. The City Attorney's Office created SMART to help direct these people to services they needed to get their lives on track. SMART began as a pilot program serving only the Central Division, with as many partners as we had beds. In February, the county and the city applied for $6 million in Prop 47 funds. Our grant proposal was ranked the best in the state, first out of 58 proposals, in part due to SMART's clear-sighted diversion program and bridge housing. As a result, we now have $3 million to expand SMART to serve the entire city. What distinguishes SMART from other programs is that it goes beyond substance abuse treatment. It provides its participants with bridge housing and wraparound services so they can focus on treatment. And it provides job training and educational opportunities so they can succeed. From the first day, participants have a case manager vested in their success. Through this holistic approach, SMART is built to help its participants achieve specific goals, complete their treatment programs so they stay out of the criminal justice system, access health care so they stay out of emergency rooms, and find permanent housing from which to build a new life. SMART participants are providing a housing navigator to ensure that they exit to permanent housing. The housing navigator facilitates apartment searches, rental applications, and credit checks. All participants are entered into the coordinated entry system and administered via SPDAT. Through a partnership with Family Health Centers, SMART participants have access to civil legal aid to remove barriers to permanent housing, such as child support issues or evictions. Who is eligible? People who have one or more misdemeanor drug offense since Prop 47 took effect and were arrested at least twice in the past 6 months for a quality of life offense. All SMART participants are screened for program suitability. First, by the San Diego Police Department at the point of contact. The City Attorney's Office reviews all participants and excludes those convicted of murder, arson, or any sex offenders, or offenders who are on probation for felony drug sales. Offenders suffering from severe mental illness are not eligible for SMART and are diverted to another, more suitable program. The next few slides provide an overview of a typical SMART participant. This participant has been in treatment for almost 150 days. Prior to entering SMART, she had been homeless for over 2 years. Today, she regularly attends self-help meetings and is receiving mental health services. She's working with her counselor to create a life plan, and she's mending relationships with her family. This next participant spent almost 20 months in jail since he began using methamphetamine at a cost to the taxpayer of nearly $90,000. He turned 60 years old while in SMART and is a model participant whose mentoring and leadership has him considering a career as a substance abuse counselor. However, SMART is not for everyone. Not everyone can succeed in the program because it requires self-discipline and compliance with program curfews and responsibilities. This woman did not want to follow house rules, and her participation was quickly terminated. As a consequence, she is in jail, and her bed has been given to someone who would like a chance to succeed. By expanding from 10 beds to 70, the SMART partners are confident we can create an opportunity for hundreds of our fellow citizens to get their lives back on track. To that end, the City Attorney's Office, in conjunction with Economic Development, will continue scouting for additional sites for SMART expansion. And now I'll turn it over to Stephen to discuss the first site.
Thank you very much, Laura. Good afternoon, Council President Cole and fellow council members. I am Stephen Meduli-Williams, Program Manager in the Economic Development Department, and I will be reviewing the site selection process, acquisition elements, and lastly, the SMART expansion timeline. About 18 months ago, the SMART program was conceived with the goal of identifying up to 10 beds to jumpstart the program. After about 12 months and an exhaustive search, SMART was fully subscribed and launched in December of 2016. With expansion in mind, economic development began to work with the City Attorney's Office in February of 2017 to look for potential sites that could hold up to 70 participants. After researching hotel properties for sale, as well as analyzing other hotel properties that have recently sold for adaptive reuse purposes, it became clear to staff that the property located at 1788 Palm Avenue was the most viable option available to the city for expansion of the SMART program. At that time, there were 7 hotel properties located within the city on the market for sale. Our due diligence into these prospective sites concluded that 6 of the sites were too small, with the room counts ranging from 4 rooms to 29 rooms to accommodate the expansion of the SMART program. This first slide represents a rendering of what the SMART Hotel would look like after rehabilitation. Our goal is to make it a significant investment in Palm Avenue that would serve as a catalyst for more direct investment along Palm Avenue. With acquisition, this project would represent an investment of over $11.1 million, of which $4.5 million will be in facility upgrades. With this slide, I'd like to highlight some of the planned improvements. The improvements really focus on safety and security, enhanced curb appeal, and ADA compliance. In addition to upgrading the facility, these improvements are intended to create a successful programmatic environment for the SMART program, similar to other award-winning programs like Veterans Village and San Diego Rescue Mission. Next, I would like to highlight some of the elements of the acquisition. The current acquisition price is roughly $6.65 million, of which an additional $4.5 million will be added for rehabilitation, which brings the total project cost to roughly $1.15 million. The intent today is to seek approval for the acquisition of the property. Next slide. One question that we've been consistently asked is, aren't there comparable services located in South San Diego? This particular map shows 17 sites for services targeting homelessness located throughout Greater San Diego. Of the 17, 2 are in the South Bay, 1 in National City and 1 in Chula Vista, and 3 are located east of the 805 in the city of San Diego. As you can see, the vast majority of these services are concentrated in central San Diego. This SMART project would represent the first substantial homeless services location in South San Diego. Currently, this property is zoned as community commercial 4-2. This property is within community commercial zones are typically collector streets, major streets, and public transportation lines. Transitional housing, which is the intended use for the SMART program, is permitted under this current zoning with a CUP to be approved by City Council. The property also is in a coastal overlay zone. However, a coastal development permit is not required if the use is not intensified with the acquisition. For example, for this site in the current use, there are currently 61 hotel rooms and about 50 parking spaces. Our intent with the acquisition and rehabilitation for the SMART program is to convert the site to 42 units with roughly about 40 parking spaces. So in essence, we're de-intensifying the use, which would not trigger a coastal development permit. In terms of the proposed timeline, June 8th was when the grant was officially awarded, and we got the green light to continuously move forward with this project. June 28th, about a week and a half ago, Public Safety and Labelable Neighborhoods recommended this particular project to you today. We're here today for City Council approval. July through October, the intent is to close escrow within the next 60 to 90 days. In November, we're targeting for both City Council approval of the CUP as well as the allocation of the funds for rehabilitation, roughly $4.5 million in community development block grant funds. We hope to start construction in January of 2018, with completion targeted toward May of 2018 and facility open for June of 2018. City Council is asked to approve action items 1 through 6 subsequent to the acquisition of the Smart Hotel property. This concludes our report. We, along with the representatives for the City Attorney's Office, the Office of Development Services, Planning, as well as the San Diego Police Department, are available for any questions that you may have, and thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. And before we take public testimony, just as a reminder, this item before you today is regarding the